Hunters, with Arch-Tempered Ray Dau added to the roster of Monster Hunter Wilds, you can see a glimpse of what the future of Monster Hunter Wilds will look like. For me, Arch-Tempered Ray Dau was shockingly easy. Let's get into it. In this video I'll do a quick breakdown of the fight and we'll look at the rewards, ending with a build using the new armor. If you are having sub 5 minutes to see hunts, the chance is that this fight won't give you much trouble. But from my fight so far, I think it will give most of the player base a good challenge. Onto the build that I used to beat this challenge. The build I used is focused on thunder resistance and a mix of match of healing and extra healing and recovery to make sure that you stay alive. You can take some big hits, but you also pack a little bit of a punch. This is by far not the best DPS setup, but for me it really helps with recovery of your health, not dying that quickly, and actually making you able to survive small mistakes. Using the Arc-Felt Hunger when you get extra health when you hit a wound, or you have Sosia's recovery, really works really well in my opinion. So for the weapon, not for the paralyzed weapon, just you would like a weapon with the ice element or some extra damage towards Ray Dau. It's not really necessary. I like paralysis. Let's quickly go through the armor. Nominus Crown B and the Vulcan Mail B and the Subu Thumb Braces and the Arc Vulcan Coil and then the Numinous Glaive. So this gives me just resistance against roars and just gives me a lot of extra recovery. So stacking some Challenger jewels, some extra earplugs, some sick jewels as well to have a bit more stamina, and then your 3 times thunder rest just to have that thunder resistance and just make sure you survive the big blows and not get one shot. So I think that really helps within this fight to survive it and not be carded constantly, because there are some consecutive attacks he does which can card you. So quickly my build, you can copy it if you're having trouble. By far not the best build you can have in DPS wise, but for recovery for me it's pretty solid. It really does the job. Not in speed, but in just actual completing the job. Let's do the fight breakdown. Myself, I found it shockingly easy in regards how it was presented, but I still enjoyed it a lot. The criticism I can give is that they could have done a little bit more to make this fight more unique. Now it's just a more difficult Ray Dau in an amped up state with one extra move, and for me it isn't enough to actually make it more challenging. Onto the fight. There are a few things you have to look at. Arch-Tempered Ray Dau will be in his amped up state from the beginning and will be quite aggressive from the start. So make sure you have your potions and defensive potions up as well. His blasts are more damaging and leaves an electric trail that gives you a second explosion, meaning you need to keep an eye and stay on the move, otherwise you'll still get hit. One new move he has is when he draws his hand back, he will aim at his feet. So you have to roll at the side to dodge that specific attack, or completely fail like I show you. You can follow it up with his wing attack, which seem to be more frequent, but nothing we haven't seen before. Creating wounds on him is also more difficult, which is for an insect glaive player like me a little bit more difficult, as it limits my ways to get extracts really quick. But staying at his side towards the back made it easy for me to deal with him, and only going up towards his face if it's really needed. Staying near his face without having a real proper guard is quite risky because he will rail gun you down, so just make sure that you don't do that. A tip within the fight I can give you is that unlike a Sosia, Arch-Tempered Ray Dau can be captured. So make sure that you have a pitfall trap because he is resistant to shock traps. And use the pitfall trap and to capture him at 30%. It really shaves down your hunt times and makes the last bit a little bit easier. As it is a part of the event, it's also a great way to get some armor squares. I got 2 rarity 8 armor squares on just one hunt. So this was really lucky, but yeah. Just make sure that if you're able to do them reliably, it's also a good way to really get armor squares. So onto the rewards. So looking at the armor you can get, Ray Dau Gamma armor is not that bad actually. Might shake up the meta for some styles of play. For insect glaive players I don't really expect it too much, but time will tell. Looking at the headpiece with weakness exploit, maximum mine and stamina surge, it's quite decent. 1 decoration slot which is a little bit off. The mail armor going with latent power level 3 which can be good if latent power would be a little bit better, but yeah, unless you go with the latent power build, I don't expect that to be used a lot. And it only has one decoration slot for a level 1 gem, which I don't really fancy. The arms, however, for an insect glaive player are quite interesting because it's a double 3 gem slot, and he has evade extender, which for insect play glavers having no guard will be quite useful. Then you have the coil going with latent power and maximum might, and that is also a little bit interesting. However, I dislike it not having any slots for decorations, so I don't think it will be used that much, but we'll have to see. So all with all, okay pieces. I don't know how it will do with other types of play, especially if you're looking at dual blades or sword and shield, but I think there are some options there to change the meta a little bit. Of course, we also have the set bonus where we have the reydau voltage, where you have the latent power skill activation will take a little bit longer. And then you also have the guts, where you have the you can survive 1 lethal hit, and afterwards you can boost defense and resistances. Can be useful in some cases. I have to test that out. Other thing you can buy is as well, you can have the talisman power up. So the power talisman for the latent power. So looking at a potential build, so I put a build together with some of the parts which I think that might work. This build is comprised at having the reydau helm, having the Gormagala chest, reydau sand braces, using the coil, and then using the Gormagala greaves, and then using a challenger charm too. So, and then what I do is that I normally have my fight an expert jewel with my critical jewel and critical jewel 2 on my weapon. For the rest, I'm just stacking challenger jewels to get agitator level 5 together with my talisman. Lastly, I stuck a tenderizer and a sanity jewel just to get some more weakness exploit, and a chain jewel in there for good measure. So this will be an overall build that has some nice skills overall. So critical boost level 5, critical eye level 1, airborne level 1, agitator level 5, maximum might level 3, antivirus level 3, weakness exploit level 2, latent power level 2, and evade window and evade extender at level 2, and burst level 1 to just top a little bit off. So it's an overall good build which can really do a lot of damage, which will be interesting, which I will be playing around with it. It's not meta breaking, but it's something different, so why not? And let's give it a try.
I hope this overview of the Arch-Tempered Ray Dau helped you a little bit. A small overview of what to expect, what you can get, and how to beat him if you're having trouble.
Like and comment for more Monster Hunter Wilds content. Your support helps the channel grow. Like always, stay sharp and happy hunting.